Hi everybody, Jackson here. Welcome back to the Daily Endeavors for the 23rd of February. So I'm just going to quickly touch on the Golden Vendor for this weekend. I didn't do it yesterday. I didn't know if I really should. I'm not really going to go through this anyway because there's so many fucking sets here. I will point out like just a couple of things that I think are worth looking at. They're all alliance points, and it's a lot for in the cases where a lot of these sets you can just upgrade cheaper ones to gold yourself. But definitely Rallying Cry is one of the ones you'd probably want to look at the most. Same with Transmutation. If you don't really do PvP, you can get Transmutation and just like I think this is a good set to use if you just like for just doing the kill player endeavors. If you do want to do those and you just want like a very simple healer set to just like follow groups around with. But yeah, there's a lot of sets here. What I would do is, like, if you want information on these, you can look up, like, the set discussions on Reddit, if you want to know what these weapon sets are. Because some of these are fucking really good, and then some of these, like Alteration Mastery, for example, nobody really uses them. So, yeah, just worth looking at. I like Cyrodiil's Crest for tanking, myself. But the thing is, I've never, ever bought any of these myself, aside from maybe Rallying Cry back in the day before I had it, and also maybe Powerful Assault. So where's Powerful Assault? Is this here? I don't think it is actually. Nah, of the Powerful Assault, I don't think it's there. That's another one I would get, but I don't think it's there. But yeah, this is honestly the only one I would actually look at. Everything else, I would say the lower. Like lower quality jewelry, just upgrade it yourself, or just leave it. I don't think it's worth spending this much on AP. That's my 2 cents. All right, so we'll just get into the endeavors now. As always, there'll be timestamps in the description. So 2 quests: Post Colossus abilities, crafting with jewelry, and Dwarven Automata. 20,000 alliance points. So even though it is the PvP event right now, I still think this is the least reliable option, and the one I would just straight up avoid because we've got 4 other easy options here. If you want to do this one, there's a couple things you can do. You can just do a couple of battlegrounds. That's a quick way. If you win a BG right now, I think you get 20k. I'm not too sure though. I think it's 10,000 normally, so it should be a victory. It should be one from a victory, but you're not going to be able to rely on that, and sometimes it can take ages for BGs to pop. So personally, I just avoid this one. You could take a couple of keeps too. Basically, if you do any of the Golden Pursuit stuff today in Cyrodiil, just do that first before going through this, and then if you end up getting enough alliance points, then goody. But if you're just rocking up to do your endeavors, then I'd say don't bother with this one. There is one other thing. Well, there is 2 other things to consider. Firstly, you can repair stuff. That's a way to do this one without even fighting any players. It is a little bit lengthy. It will take 30 minutes, maybe most likely more. But that is, it's not too bad right now. And if you find one of those campaigns that has like the underdog bonus and stuff like that, then you could probably do this one faster anyway. It could take like 15 minutes to do that, but I still think these ones are just way faster anyway. Also, if you are going to do this one in Cyrodiil, just keep in mind, if the campaign that you're going to, set it as your home campaign. Right click and it'll say home. Do that with the one that you're going into, because you fill this reward tier here, and if you get it to 1, it's 25,000 AP, I think it is. If you end up getting this all the way to 1, when this campaign ends, you'll get some Transmute Stones, and Transmute Stones are fucking good. So it's always worth it getting those. You get 50 from the 30-day campaign reward tiers. It's a bit weird. The tiers don't change, so it's more beneficial doing the 30-day ones because the reward tier doesn't require less to do the 7-day campaigns, but you get less Transmute Stones. So let's do one of the 30-day ones. Standard OCP, Alliance locked. Below level 50, I think, is also 30-day. Yeah, these ones here you get less from sending them as home. Yeah, just something to consider. If you're just going to do battlegrounds, it doesn't matter, but it's worth mentioning because Transmute Stones are always fucking helpful. Alright, so let's go through these options. So 2 quests. So we've got 2 ways to do this. First off, I'll just go through. So obviously you can just go, if you want your tickets, you can just do either a quest in one of the towns in Cyrodiil, That's generally a quick way to do it. You can get the towns, you see these towns here, Shadenhall, Bruma, you've got Coral over here, if you Daggerfall, that one's really good, and then you've got Blastress and Cropstead. I'm not a big fan of doing this outside of Shadenhall and Cropstead on really slow campaigns where your faction owns everything, because these places often change hands a lot and you're just going to be interrupted, maybe. But yeah, But this is definitely the quickest way to get your 2 tickets and do a quest if you want to do those at the same time. And then Imperial City, if you want your tickets there, you do have to do a quest for one of the districts. I usually do the arena one, because you can sort of AFK at the towers and not have to attack any players. It does take a while, and you could just go out and just get the prisoners that way. So there's something to do if you want to get the tickets at the same time. But if you don't care about that, you can just do 2 quests in your zone. You could get skill points if you do some zone quests, so it's worth it trying to do those. Could do main story quests for skill points. Could do I'll show you the basically create a character and do a bunch of quests that way, but I'll do that in a minute. So the quickest and most efficient or most practical way is to get a bunch of writs and do those. So what I suggest is either a jewelry crafting and a clothier writ, or a blacksmith and a clothier writ, because they're generally where the rewards are the most valuable, especially clothing. That's the main one you want to make sure you do, because Dragwax is very expensive for a gold clothing item or gold upgrade item that you get quite frequently. Same thing with blacksmithing and jewelry crafting. The gold materials for that. Are you gonna do anything? Do something. So yeah, the gold materials are quite good, and you only need 2 now in order to unlock writs. There's tons of videos out there. You just look up ESO Writs Guide, and there's tons of stuff out there if you want to know about it. They explain it much better than I do. So we've got those 2. Now I'll show you something else you can do to make this quick, but you do need a character slot. But if you have one available, or you have a new character that you've just started, and they haven't done anything at all, there is something else you can do that's quite easy to get this one done with. Alright, so making a new character, doesn't matter what they are, just make it whatever. And then I usually just call them Endeavor's Sacrifice. You can call it whatever you want, you can keep the character if you want, but it's no big deal. I just delete them afterwards, because if you delete them, you can just recreate a new sacrifice character and just do it on them instead, and just repeat the process. Now, what I like to do from here, it's up to you how you want to get to where you're going, but what I like to do here to make this super quick is I go to Home Tours. If you've got your own version of this house, it's perfect, but go to the Rosy Lion at the bottom. Make sure you go to Browse Homes, sometimes these don't show up. Go here, and then travel here. So if you've got your own version, you can also just go to houses here, but when you first create your character, you won't be able to. That's the only annoying thing. So yeah, as soon as you travel to any house, houses will unlock in the houses menu. I don't know why this happens when you first create characters. It's fucking weird. But yeah, that's just one of the annoying things about ESO. So yeah, just use someone else's version. Just travel inside, and as soon as you enter, you will then be able to travel to any house on the map. You don't need to, though. What you want to do... Oh, yeah, wow, interesting. Is that a fucking dragon? The dragon head. The fuck? So yeah, now that you've done this, your houses will appear here, so it's really helpful. But you don't need that, you just leave the home. Just make sure it's the Rosy Lion, or the Mara's Kiss Public Inn room, because those 2 lead you to the place that you do the quest. Alright, so there'll be lots of shit going on here. Just talk to this lady here. Just keep pressing the talk button. You'll complete a quest, that's one. You don't have to talk to the prophet, but you can if you want. This is another quest you can do. If you want to do the Corn Pursuit to do a bunch of quests, this is one way as well. So, and you can just do this multiple times, delete the character, redo it, and keep moving. Instead, you want to go over here. You want to go to the Fighters Guild, or the Mages Guild, doesn't matter which one, because they both have a character you can talk to. So these characters, these are the people that give you the skill line to the Fighters or Mages Guild. So just keep pressing the talk button, complete another quest, and you're done. So yeah, usually that's how I like to do it. And you've got a few more. So you've got this one. You can do the Prophet quest, go to the Harborage and do it that way. If you have access to Greymore, there's also a 5th one. You can go to the Antiquarian Circle and do that one. So yeah, you got a bunch of options here, but that's usually what I go with. And now what I usually do is just go delete, type in delete in all caps, and just remove that character. So you can just create the character again whenever you want. Alright, so crafting with the Jury skill. Regarding the 2 quests, if you do that's why I suggest you do a jewelry crafting if you can, if you have Somerset. So unfortunately, this one requires Somerset. If you don't have that, you can't do it. But I imagine most people have Somerset. There's no like side methods to this, like there are with deconstructing. You just go to jewelry crafting station, go to creation, go to ring. You need 4 rings, and that's it. Now you can craft 1 ring and do your jewelry crafting writ, or 2 rings, depending on how many jewelry crafting items it makes, and just do it that way. But yeah, simplest way, 8 pewter ounce, and yeah, you've got this one done as well. So yeah, that one's easy as well. And yeah, definitely consider doing a writ, because you get a chance to get some platings, which are always helpful for jewelry crafting. So guild stores will usually in the materials, jewelry crafting materials section. Usually you'll find some pewter ounce here. Could also be raw stuff. Nothing here. If you want to look for it yourself, I'll show you an image of what it looks like. This is what the level 1 resource looks like. And then you've also got platinum, which looks like this. So these 2 here will be probably the most common ones you'll see. So just look out for these if you're doing this on a max level character. This stuff here is what I would recommend using, pewter, but you can use either if you want. And you'd only need to collect a few, so maybe 10 or 20. Wouldn't take you long. Alright, so now I'll talk about Dwarven Automata. So I suggest doing this before you do class ability ones, just so you can get a few class kills before you actually get into this one. Sort of not really that big of a issue. If you want, you can do the quest, jewelry crafting, and class skills, and don't worry about that, because you can do this one a lot simpler than you can this one, I think. But Dwarven Automata, so there's a couple of options here. Inner Sea Armature is probably one of the most straightforward ones to get to. This is a way shrine you have by default, so you can easily get here at any time. It's just a little bit of a trek to the west, and it's weird like trying to find this place, because you got to go around like cliffs and shit. There's a couple of other good places I think are good, maybe. It's only 5 Dwarven Automata, so you don't need much. So Lower Bethaniel is pretty good too. This one here, just slightly west of Mournhold. Usually I just use this way trying to get there. So there's a couple of other things. So Rezek's Wheel in the far southwestern side of Bankrai also has tons of Dwemer in it. Unfortunately, there's no dungeons that just have Dwemer in it like straight away that aren't DLC ones. Volenfell has quite a few, but you need to get past a tier 3 boss. Same with Darkshade Caverns, but you also need to go through some tier 3 bosses to get to those. But those are some instance areas which have access to some. There's also a couple of delves in Craglorn. You've got Mathanas, and then you've also got it's this one here, I think, Rakunzelft. But Mathanas is usually the one I use for this. But it's only 5, so I think Inner Sea Armature, Lower Bethaniel, and you can also use Maelstrom Arena as well. Maelstrom's second stage has tons of Dwemer, and they're also instanced. You've also got Rekindleth has some Dwemer in it. You've also got Nizchileft Falls also has a bunch of Dwemer. You've got a bunch of options here. It just depends on what you've got available and what you want to bother with. But yeah, my advice is just go Inner Sea Armature or Lower Bethaniel. That's more than enough. The enemies here are very weak, so you can kill them quite quickly. And there's like swarming enemies. So, oh yeah, I've already fucked this up. So yeah, they're like swarming spiders, and they're like they die very fast. So you really don't need a strong character to get through this one. So when you first get in, there'll be a couple of bandit enemies. Just ignore those if you can. Just move past them. The Dwemer start here. So you got this one. So bring them with you. Come over here. There's another Dwemer there. There's another Dwemer here. These ones, I think, are less... If you've got invisibility, I'd say worry less about these ones as much as the... you can see the swarming spiders over there. They're way better, I think. for getting your endeavor done. These guys are quite tough. Well, no, for an overland enemy. Yeah, you've got the swarming spiders over there. There's tons of them from these things. So put your dots down and then just spam an AoE skill. And as you can see, they just keep popping out, and yeah, you'll easily get your Dwarven Automata one from that. And there's tons of these things around. Now these steam pipes, they have things in them usually to loot afterwards. Not always. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's fucking. Yeah, okay. So we got that at least. But yeah, just I'm pretty sure checking that is useful to keep respawn them quicker for other people, but I cannot confirm that at all. I'm sure most people have seen this to death, but I'll just go through what I usually do for just class ability endeavors. So for less than like 50, I would say go in here and do it once or twice. Well, maybe not 50. Yeah, go 30. Anything above 30, I'd use something else. But Way of Steel's 1 is great for getting weapon or class ability or scribe ability ones done, because there's 21 skivers in this room. They're very weak. They have about as much health as an overland like humanoid enemy. So they're very fast to kill. And then you just run a character that has good class ability damage. Now, I will link in the description what I usually suggest for each of the classes as far as what skills to take, because and just understand some classes I think are way better than others. Nightblades are probably my favorite because yeah, you can just, all their class kit is just fucking good. I also like sorcerers and Templars and Dragonknights. Necromancers are good too. Basically, Arcanists as well. Basically, anything that isn't Warden are totally fine, I think. Warden just don't have an AoE spam ball, so I don't like them too much. Okay, so what I do, bring these guys, there's a heavy sack over there too, bring these guys, and if you really want to go all out, if you want all of them to get 20, bring that group, pull this group as well. Now, try your best not to use anything aside from class abilities to deal your damage. So we'll go this, and then we'll sap essence. And don't light attack. You can block if you want to reduce the damage, but yeah, don't light attack. Don't use any abilities that aren't class ability related. Don't use proc sets too. Proc sets don't count. So things like monster stats, don't use them if you can. Things like Pillar of Nirn, Reliquin, things like that, they're all proc sets. You don't want to use stuff like that. You want to use things, preferably you want to find sets that buff your class damage. There's 2 sets that actually do this. Now, I wouldn't recommend just going nuts, getting like a really powerful build that just is these sets. But if you do get the weeklies that have this, they're like 200, 300 class ability kills, it can be really helpful for those, because in those cases, you really want to fucking smash out your class ability kills. So there's 2. So you've got Claw of the Forest Wraith, increases your crit chance for class abilities. Then you've got Innate Axiom, which increases the weapon damage, or weapon spell damage of your class abilities. These 2 together will allow you to just mostly get your class abilities to, like, mostly get, basically every single kill will be this. Because if the class ability is not the thing that kills the target, if it's not the last hit, if, for example, you use like a ground AoE weapon ability and that gets the last hit, it will not count for this sort of thing. So you want your class abilities doing the most damage if possible. Alright, so let me show you quickly how to get to Way of Steel's 1. Okay, so the way I usually get to Way of Steel's 1, if I haven't been there before, start from the Wayshrine at Daggerfall, the number, just here. You start with this one by default, so you'll always have access to it. Jump down here. Now just be careful if you don't have any breakfall, because you'll take a lot of damage here. Come down here. I'm gonna come this way. And over here. Wow, that was that was cool. Alright, so I like to travel to Stormhaven. And once you're here, it's just a small trek to the northwest. Go through the roads here, and you'll get to Way of Steel's 1. As soon as you've travelled here on this character, you'll then be able to access this from anywhere, from any Wayshrine in the world. And you've got a Wayshrine here as well, and a bunch of guild traders here. If you want to look for some pewter ounce too, you can do that as well. Okay, if you got any questions about any of the stuff, just let me know as always. I'm always more than willing to help people out if they need anything. But that's Endeavours sorted for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time, and take care.